Mark's turned rogue.
Don't know what it is though.
Well, it's a motorbike.
All right, okay. See ya.
This is the BMW M Sport 1000RR, isn't it?
S1000RR Sport.
Yeah.
It's a BMW. Very quite rare. It's a safety partnership bike that's being run by the police, Devon Cornwall Police. It's used for patrolling.
Yeah.
So it's got all the gear on it.
Which is a bit of a myth, isn't it? People think that the police buy these sort of bikes just for a gimmick, but it's actually used for patrolling as well.
It's used for patrolling, so you can see this out on the road. It's got all the bells and whistles on it you would expect. Crucially though, which people always, there's another myth we're going to dispel here, this bike has had nothing done to it. None of the bikes have had anything done to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is to police the roads of Devon and Cornwall.
Yeah. And it's fitted with cameras so that they can show you exactly what you're doing when they catch you. It's fitted with loads of lights, of course, because it needs to have lights so that it can stop you on the road. But fundamentally, the fact that it's a different bike naturally starts conversations, doesn't it? It's not all about starting conversations, but if you were to speak to the police and ask them how many people died on the roads in Cornwall last year, was it 9 people that died on the roads specifically around bad riding or dangerous riding or making mistakes?
Oh, hang on.
We've got a voice. He's coming in. He's coming in. Look at this.
I'll stand here because this is his bike. We've started, mate. Tell us all about the bike.
So, this is an M1000RR. It was kindly purchased for us by Vision Zero Southwest, which is our road safety partnership. In any aim to reduce motorcycle casualties throughout Devon and Cornwall. 2022, we had a really horrendous year. We had 187 life-changing injuries and 16 fatalities throughout our biking community. So, set about several different schemes to try and reduce those. This is part of it. This is very much around engagement with our motorcycling community. If I park this up outside a shop, I do find that a lot of people will come and speak to me and engage with me, and I can talk to them about riding opportunities on things such as bike safe. Straight ahead, we are, that's a new scheme that we're running in partnership with some of our dealerships, motorcycle dealerships. So when you buy a new bike or a used bike, what we're trying to do is to get you going out with IAM, ROSPA, any of the riding schools, and take part in a day's assessment where they can give you hints and tips that might keep you alive. And ultimately what we're trying to do is to promote further training, further rider training of civilians. Obviously the police, it's no secret, we go through quite a lot of training and we need to train our way out of the amount of collisions that we're having. We are vulnerable by virtue of what we ride. We haven't got a steel bubble around us. And ultimately this is about putting yourself in positions of safety and taking away certain risk factors. So
here's a question for you then. In your experience, we have back-to-bike riders, older guys who've rode a 600cc motorbike 20 years ago, and they buy a 600cc and it's completely different.
Yep.
So we have those types of riders, and we have the youngsters who are coming up, Is there a difference? Who has the most accidents, do you think?
So we have
a leading question.
No, not at all. So in the southwest, we have our 16 to 24-year-olds. Our percentage went up by 47% last year in 2023. So that's an area we have to address. And we've started another of our schemes going into colleges and universities and schools where we are working with 16 to 19-year-olds around very much starting biking in the right way, so giving them motorcycle skills for life. And it's around things like PPE, not overtaking through junctions. That's where we have a lot of our collisions with the younger riders taking risk. Inherently, the problem is that a 16 to 24-year-old, their brains don't develop fear until they are 24, 25 years old.
I was bomb-proof.
As we all were.
We
all were. And for me, I didn't realise until I actually started learning police riding just how much risk I was at prior to that. the things you don't see, you know, and just the safer principles of what we teach in the police riding. That's what I want to try and get as many as we can into those schemes of advanced further training, because we can spend all the money on gear and boots and helmets, gloves, have a really nice flashy helmet, but actually a motorcycle is not dangerous until you stick the wrong brain on it. And ultimately, if you can do something that's going to save your life by giving you better skills, better understanding of the road and the hazards, and we all know that they can be dangerous in the wrong hands, but put yourself in the right position to get the right training.
So, talking about advanced riding,
Yep.
coming from no riding to riding and then learning and being trained with the police,
Yep.
how much more enjoyment do you get out of riding now through riding the same way everywhere you go and reading the road? Because there's a lot of people out there that think that advanced riding is like old fuddy-duddy, it's
Yep.
not for me, I'm a youngster, I'm much better than that.
Yeah.
So we keep saying it because we get so much more enjoyment about riding in an advanced fashion, because you can see more, you can enjoy more, your bike's more planted, it's safer, it's smoother.
Yeah.
What about from your perspective? Because you're the expert, aren't you?
100%. I enjoy my riding a lot more now. Now I've had the training and the input. I'm lucky enough to get it for my work, and I've now gone on and developed into being a police motorcycle instructor. Never thought that would happen, but actually being able to teach people the right way and the safest way to ride now, there's no better enjoyment, I find personally, when I go out and ride my own personal bike now, and I don't have the bright yellow. You know, it's for me, it makes you understand just how vulnerable we are as motorcyclists, and there is no better thing. I always say the biggest investment, or the best investment, is in yourself. The better you can be, the safer you're going to be, and you're going to be safer for everybody around you. It's not a fuddy-duddy way of riding. It's safe. And actually, if you want to go and enjoy something, but actually enjoy something that can potentially be dangerous, but make it as safe as possible, then actually you'll enjoy yourself more, because you're taking those scary moments out, the moments that jump up on you that you're not expecting. It teaches you to look for things that you might not have seen before.
And it's exciting, isn't it? You know, you learn more skills than you ever thought you'd have.
Yeah.
And you enjoy something that you spend so much money and effort and time buying and looking after.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the level of investment in something like this, I mean, this is, I don't know, 38,000 or whatever it is, £38,000. Yeah, it's a big investment, isn't it? And you know, we invest, like I say, a lot in kit and stuff. Put some money into yourself and make yourself a better rider.
And that's one of the things that we always do as advanced riders, isn't it? It's not just about the roadworthiness of the bike, it's roadworthiness of you, isn't it? What state of mind you're in, how you're feeling, have you had a good night's sleep, have you had an argument with your partner? You know, all that affects how this thing works, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be in the right frame of mind to ride a motorcycle, I think. And if you find yourself on a ride where you know that you're starting to take chances, you're starting to step outside the boundaries of what is safe and what is within the confines of the highway code, that's the moment to stop. Have a coffee, a cup of tea, take a break, take a moment, and then carry on your ride.
It happens to us all, doesn't it? You know, we ride around the world, don't we, Mark? And we use this wherever we go, and people follow us, and we've been stopped going down mountain passes saying, "Are your brake lights working?" You're like, well, I'm not using them because I'm using the system, and we get lots more longevity in brakes and tyres and the bike itself, and enjoyment going down through those mountain passes just through riding the same everywhere.
The frustrating aspect I found of motorcycling, we've sort of gone off in a completely different direction now, is you see these easy rider films and things like that, you know, and people have this perception of what, you know, that's what we should be like. That might be all right in America, where there's big wide roads and not so much traffic, but on a road like this in Cornwall, you know, you can't ride like that. And it's so important that we get people to engage in training. I don't know how we get youngsters in. It's really hard to do that because we're all bomb-proof, aren't we?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's time for people to realise that you can't ride like that. You just can't ride like an idiot anymore. And I've noticed now, just over the way there, we've got the new A30 that's being built. It's been going on forever, it seems like. And I see motorcyclists now taking more and more risks, you know, going past places where you're not supposed to overtake, filtering in horrendous places, you know, and you just go, please do a little bit of training to save your life.
Yeah, one of the questions I get asked a lot about is filtering when we're at events. Filtering per se is not illegal. What we advise is that it's not more than 10 mile an hour faster than the traffic you're travelling through. And if you think to yourself where the gap is that a vehicle is likely to slide across from lane 2 into lane 1, for instance, that's where the vehicle is going to move into, and that's where your danger points are. So when a car is side by side, that's usually the safest point. But ultimately, you've got to anticipate other road users, haven't you?
I find it really, you know, 10 mile an hour above what the traffic is doing is great, but if people take that in the wrong way and they've got a car that's doing 50 miles an hour and they want to be doing 60, a friend of mine's son had an accident. He was doing 60 mile an hour on the M25 filtering, and you go, well, that's just ridiculous. So the 10 mile an hour over is great, but let's just think about what it is we're trying to get, you know, we're trying to achieve there. And what I say is, if you once traffic is getting up to speed, then just become part of the traffic. It's just so dangerous otherwise.
Yeah, it is.
Think about what you're achieving. You know, filtering is really good, but if you're filtering through loads of traffic, why are you doing it? You've got to ask yourself, haven't you? If you're getting frustrated through loads of traffic, what's the harm in waiting? You arrive, you know, we have it on the police cars and stuff, don't we? The sirens don't give you right away. It's better to arrive later, but alive, isn't it? And
yeah, absolutely. Bike, isn't it? I would rather arrive 2 minutes later for wherever I'm trying to get than arrive sooner in the next world. So,
what is it from here? From here to Exeter is takes about 70 minutes, some of that hour and 10 minutes, 70 miles an hour, something like that. You know, you're doing 80 miles an hour. You're going to get there 6 minutes earlier. Is life that desperate? You have to get there 6 minutes earlier. Anyway, we've digressed. Tell us about this bike.
So
we were rubbish at it when we started.
So this came about. It's very much an engagement tool. We do use it for patrolling. It's equipped with cameras and lights, the same as our normal patrol motorcycles are. This gives us the ability to engage with members of the public, certainly our riding community, in the form of it's an interesting. Hello there.
Sorry.
That's okay. So it's designed as an engagement tool for us. We can patrol, and we do patrol on it. It has cameras front and rear, blue lights. It's fitted with blue lights, and the idea of it is that if I park this up outside a shop, a motorcycle shop, for instance, or a T-stop, motorcyclists will come and speak to me, and that's a starter for 10 for me. Is we aren't about waving the enforcement stick all the time. Those people that choose to step outside of the boundaries of the highway code and put themselves and others in danger, then of course that's something that has to be dealt with for everybody's safety. But that said, I am very much focused on engaging and educating motorcyclists. I've seen the beauty of being able to teach police motorcyclists and what benefits it has in their own safety, and that shouldn't be just confined to us. That should be every motorcyclist deserves to actually have a bit of extra education and keep themselves safe. So this is a starter tool for us, very, very much aimed at people coming to speak to us.
And it's quite strange, isn't it? Because people see on TV, interceptors, road cops, all police are horrible people, aren't they? All the police do is give people tickets. But if you were to speak to any of those interceptors, traffic cops, bike cops, nobody wants to give tickets because the money doesn't come back to the force.
No.
People just generally want that education to make people's life a bit better. And all you want is people to work with you, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, I would rather speak to a motorcyclist and give them some hints and tips, as would my colleagues, than have to walk up a driveway and give that really bad news that the loved one's not coming back because they're in hospital or worse. So for us, for me certainly, doing the motorcycle casualty reduction is very much about working with the motorcycling community and keeping them alive.
So why did they pick this bike over a GS or GSA or something that's much more popular around bikers? Because GSAs, you know, if you ride along this, people are going like that, aren't they? A GSA, people are, oh, that's another one.
One of those Piaggios with two wheels on the front have the same effect.
A Honda AX scooter, that would have been amazing. So why did they choose to have that? And I get that it's the educational tool.
Yep.
But is it also about showing people that ride these sort of bikes, and the police are prepared to use these bikes to catch up with them, to give them that educational message?
Yeah.
All of that enforcement and stuff as well?
Yeah, it is. It's, I mean, ultimately, the standard police motorcycle, as you know, is the 1250 RTP. It rides completely different than this. It's very much a bolt upright and very comfortable. This is completely the other end of the spectrum. It's very quick. It's very nimble, and it's aimed at a completely different style of motorcycling. So
Comfy.
no, not for me. I'm 6'5", and to be honest, it's like having it surgically removed when I get off it. So it's not the most comfortable of things. It looks pretty, but for someone my size, it's too small.
And I guess with this bike, because it's a patrolling bike, isn't it? It's not a bike that you've bought or that's been bought to be wheeled around to just show people. That's also the offshoot, isn't it? You use it. But on the other side of the spectrum, it's not just about people that are riding, is it? It's about when you are at those engagement events, or if you are at the side of the road and somebody brings their young family along, starting young people, getting to know the police as safe people to come to, but also that you're on a bike, gets them thinking about that sort of thing and not being afraid to ask for help. Yeah,
definitely. We've started doing some stuff around kids' education now with motorcycling and safer on the road, and that then develops into, you usually find if mum or dad ride bikes, that the children want to progress into riding motorcycles as well, and some of the work we're doing around the college age education now around PPE, riding with your helmets done up, simple little things, simple little tips that actually might be the difference between, we can never measure whether those things work, but it's got to be a start of a 10. We've got to tell them what's the right and wrong way of doing something, and these things inherently, like we say, that they're not, as a motorcycle, if people say to me that's dangerous, it's not dangerous just sat there. It's a piece of metal with an engine, and it's putting the wrong attitude on it. And if we can start getting into the beginning, giving them motorcycle skills for life at sort of 16, 17 years old when they start, and if they start the right way, they progress through their riding careers as a safe rider.
We did some training with Rosper did with Kerno Maids, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
A bunch of lady riders based in Cornwall, and what we found was the lack of confidence of a lot of them. But they've got their licenses, they've got all their their ability to do it, but they just haven't taken on their training, and as a result of doing that, we've had loads of them sign up to do extra training, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's just, say silly things, it's not silly things if you're worried about it, just manoeuvring the bike around. We start really that simple, manoeuvring the bike around. You've got this hump of 20, 30,000 pounds worth of stuff and you're worried about moving.
How much?
So just starting there gives people a little bit more confidence that this is a machine that they control rather than it controlling them, isn't it? And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. It's what I would say is, if you are in any doubt, if you are nervous about riding, you're given your CPT, and you're then let loose on members of the public to go out and practice, aren't we? And inherently, experience comes from usually with motorcycling, where you've had spills and tumbles, or you've ridden up the back of a car or whatever. Ultimately, if you can get that training first and progress into riding rather than go out and experience it for yourself, you're going to be safer ultimately.
Yeah. But it's a lovely bike, isn't it?
Thank you.
And you obviously enjoy riding it over and above every other bike you've got. But when you get off, you're like that, aren't you?
When we reviewed this, I thought my hip was going to dislocate. It was horrific. but it's a really nice bike.
They're incredible, aren't they? And that's the other thing about a motorbike, isn't it? No matter what bike you've got, there are so many tools on it to make you feel like you're in excessively No, that's the wrong word. Exceptionally great rider.
Yes.
Because this does everything for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, this can give you the misconception that your ability is far better than it might be. And there are, like you say, there are a number of tools on this to help you ride. Apparently it's got anti-wheelie control. Not something that I want to ever give a go, but
Cut to the shot of you.
yeah, it's
Didn't Rossi make a comment once to somebody about his ability running out before? I can't remember the quote now. Somebody will put it on the comments thing. But he was in a race and he was saying about your ability run out before the bike's capability or something.
Ambition outweighs ability.
That was it. Something like
Ambition outweighs ability.
that. And that's a frightening thing, isn't it?
So
Yeah.
people of Devon and Cornwall are likely to see this at shows, of course, if
Yep.
they're around like Royal Cornwall, if they do that
Yep.
still. But they're more than likely to see it on the side of a road talking to bikers. And don't be afraid to come and speak to them because they have got loads of knowledge that they might want to share with you.
Yeah.
Because we don't want you dying on the road. That's why Mark and I do what we do with Rosberg. We do the same riding as you, albeit you're like God, like that to us, because you've got the speed, haven't you? But we use the same system.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it's about, just being safe. So you will see this about, don't be scared of it. And if you are breaking the speed limit, also don't be scared of these people, because they might just speak to you about it and go like that. And give you some messages.
Yeah, I would much rather that I educate a rider
Yeah.
than, as I said, enforce. Ultimately, this is about safety. And as I've said, 2022, we lost far too many of our riding colleagues through serious injury and through fatalities. Me and my colleagues don't want to walk up that driveway and give that message. I enjoy riding, and I want every motorcyclist within Devon and Cornwall, whether you're a visitor or whether you are resident here, to enjoy your riding safely. And I want to enjoy that with you. But you know, please just keep it sensible and enjoy it. But don't step outside the realms of the highway code. All the motorcycling work I'm doing, hopefully people will understand that it's more based at teaching and educating our way out of people dying. Things like the simulator that's coming, that is aimed very much at the younger rider market.
Get youngsters involved, that's the thing.
Yeah, so the stuff I'm doing, we're going into colleges, is about, we'll take the simulator with us, we're working with Devon and Somerset Fire and Rescue, and you know, working with them as well. It's a collaborative approach around teaching from an early age, teaching out of the mistakes rather than allowing them to go out and make the mistakes like we did. This allows us with a simulator, it's first of its kind in the UK, where we can put them on, we can throw hazards in front of them and see how they deal with it with no risk to them. And this thing will be in the back of a truck. We'll be taking it around to events in Devon and Cornwall. It's going to be at some of their national events as well. It's the first of its kind, as I said, and it's just something a little bit different that we hope, with kids nowadays, they're coming through that age group where they do computer games, they're doing something that, you know, they can take the risk. They press reset.
Yeah.
On a bike, we can't press the reset button, whereas this will allow them to ride a bike and not worry about risking their life. Yeah. So I can, as you know, you can go out and follow someone and you can talk them through a hazard, but ultimately they're in control of the bike. We can't reach across and grab the brake. Yeah. At least this way I can put them in hazardous situations without actually putting them at any risk. So it's just something a little bit different, and we're lucky enough that we're going to have it in Devon and Cornwall for our use. So
I might come along and see it, shall we?
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
really good. So, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't be scared of these people. Look out for that bike. It's not only does it sound good, it looks really good as well. And if you're following it, you might get a few tips.
Absolutely.
Subscribe, all that sort of stuff. We'll see you in the next video.